Hey, what's up, friends? Happy Thursday. Coming bringing it to you live with DeOrganized Nightly, where we bring your favorite DJs, community members, and builders together to have a good conversation and cover what's going on in the crypto space. I am your host, Giga Pepe. Come bring you the latest outfit. Let's get into it. We got some bass guests in the building. Regular Jack Fin Switch, our beloved Peace Love Music. Crypto dude, and we have a few other friends that might stop by. So let's get the guys on. We got the Peace Love Music, we got the Jack Bin Switch, and we got the Crypto dude so far. How are we doing, fellas?
Doing good, man.
What's up? What's up?
Doing great.
Yeah, it's been a good day, man. Like I felt like your Stacks price action is looking a little promising. You know, I got a little bit of some Velar tokens and staked them. Made some content for the Velar Creator Program. Used Zest. I did a little bit of it all today. What have you guys been up to?
You know, I wrote an article today about Velar because it needed to be written, and that was fun. And but I just wanted to say, I don't know if you guys noticed, I saw some Stacks accounts kind of ragging on Solana people today about, are you tired of getting rugged and this, that, and the other, right? Like I think the Bob account posted some pretty funny, stuff about that today, and like it inspired me because basically I'm gonna make a post that says something to the fact of 92% of pump fund users would have done better had they just bought USDH and staked it. Because they would have done so much better.
Especially that week when it was like 50 to 70%.
Yeah. So anyway, that's funny. We need more of that energy,
And if there's a Bitcoin ecosystem, dude, we've got USDH, and you could be earning 25%. So right. It's like, come on, man.
Where's Blockbase isn't coming?
I don't know. Did he sleep today? Maybe he's like he was on a 48-hour autism laser beam. So he was on this morning. So he was
an autism bender.
That's what I was getting at. A little autism bender. You know what I'm saying? Really
the best ones. Yeah.
He didn't make it on this morning, did
he? Dude, look. Okay, I'm gonna put Mr. Wagme on blast here because he's a dear friend. But like when Mr. Wagme first got exposed to Michael, he was like, "Hey, do you think that Blockface account's an AI?" I'm like, no, dude. Like I talk to him all the time. I said, but I can see why you would think that.
My wife has actually said the same thing, and she's seen me talking to him many times.
What's up, Landy? Oh, he might not be on.
I'm muted. Sorry.
Oh
was like,
yeah,
there's-
Larry's first time on his space, he's unmuting. He doesn't know how to unmute. It's like
Yep,
when Peace
I-
learned how to drink water, right?
Yo, that picture is hilarious. I had to save that one. I saved that one personally, so that's not.
Did you guys see Jake put it like replaced a 40 of it? Had the close of it.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
So funny.
I love it. I'll be honest with you, bro. It was like the first time that I said it yesterday. First time that Peace had ever drank water in his life. He's very unfamiliar with this process.
You reminded me of that joke, dude. Because like it all stemmed from like Blockface kind of making it a ritual to catch a new guest doing something on the election podcast. He caught me, and I didn't have eyes, and I was just like smiling, like this thing's lit. So it's kind of like a rite of passage at this point, you know. Good old Blockface.
Funny stuff. So it's good. I'm enjoying the fact that you guys are doing nightly shows. One, it's to see the three of you at a time slot in which I can actually watch you guys and even join in on some of the fun and hilarity. And after a long day where everybody's kind of winding down and it gets a little bit looser, and it's a good time.
It's definitely a fun atmosphere. I was trying my damnedest to be like, no, this is your guys' show. I'm not going to be on it, but I can't resist. It's too fun.
How can you not? It's just it's fun.
Yeah.
Like I want this to be the highlight of people's day. Like it's the highlight of my day when I'm on DeOrganized. You know, it's fun. You know,
That's the type of atmosphere like I want. I want to have like the community. Like I said, I want the community to get involved. I want the builders to get involved, and like and really make a fun atmosphere where we can cover like some alpha, but we're still gonna have some laughs and then like shoot the breeze with the guys, right? You know, we had a good format this morning too. It felt like a very nice morning show. It was just me, Steve, and I think it was Blockface on there.
Reese was with us.
Reese was with us. That's what it was.
I don't remember. I think Michael might have came in late. I think he came in kind of late. We had Orange on with us for the Fine to Earn, and I think I'm going to ask him to come. He's probably going to join us tomorrow. I think Kitty's going to be there too. So we're it's a similar vibe, but it is different in the morning because it's the morning, and we're still kind of like it's work mode, and I'm doing the news, and it's a little more serious than it used to be because of that. Plus, we're trying to be a little bit.
Here we're just chill guys.
Right. Here we're just the crew hanging out, kind of being goofy and degens and talking about whatever. It's a little bit more of the election night vibe, actually.
Chill guys, NFA DYOR, right?
Where's Gary? We gotta get Gary.
I wasn't an endorsement at all. No, I was just saying we are literally chill guys.
Hashtag.
I come bringing some alpha for you guys. If you were listening to ATC, which shout out to you, GP. I saw how much work that y'all are putting in, putting together all the shows and stuff on DeOrganized Media. It's really, really awesome. This is destined to become a very big thing, and you've already got a bunch of shows that do really well. And this show, the DeOrganized platform on X, I've been watching. It has consistency, and it's really cool. But I don't know if you heard about this whole yapping thing. We mentioned it yesterday. It came up yesterday. Well, even if you have 0 yaps, you can go on and claim based on the smart followers.
right?
Oh, really?
I just went and did this, and because you're all gigabrains, the Moist Sock account, it was even able to claim because it's per X account. And I have more smart followers under the Moist Sock account than I do under my own.
Oh,
main
Lord.
account.
That's fucking funny.
Was he just
That's like, wow.
No,
Yeah,
The irony of that.
Go connect your X, even if it shows that you don't have anything. Click the claim button after you connect X. Have a little base Ethereum, and you can claim Kaito, which is trading at I think like just under $2 right now. It's about $1.50 right now. And that's
how many followers?
huh?
How much Kaito did you give for how many followers?
Oh, it's what it seems to be one Kaito per smart follower. Is the airdrop, even if you don't have any yaps. But I actually had yaps on my accounts. I didn't, it just wasn't, the UI wasn't showing it to me. But when I went to claim, I have a bunch of yaps and a bunch of smart followers on my main account, and then the Moisock account as well, which obviously is only talking about stacks and stacks projects and Valar and Rue and all of the rest of the stuff going on in the stacks ecosystem. So in my followers, I have 200 smart followers for 1,800 followers total on that account. But I have I think 80 something smart followers for my account that has over 8K followers, which is hilarious.
The Moist Sock. It has
The
11.
Moist Stock has more smart followers than I do. So
Going where your audience is.
yeah,
That's
basically.
Yeah, we're the ecosystem that would have right curve meme tokens, right? Like we're those guys.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you for that alpha, Landy. I appreciate that. I'll definitely, because I had the same issue as you, as having my account labeled as like an entrepreneur of some sort, which I didn't ask for. They just kind of put it on there, so I was not able to get yaps. So that is some alpha.
You're punished for having initiative.
I don't even
Yeah.
know what I was supposed to do to get yaps.
I don't know either, but all of a sudden, the only thing I can tell you is if you have an X account, you likely have a claim. You'll need just a little bit of base Ethereum. So if you have Ethereum, you just bridge it over to base. It's very, very cheap on base to transact.
Yeah, I have a little bit of Ethereum on base. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I'm, and you can just use multiple X accounts to the same base Ethereum wallet is what I found. It's going by X account, not by wallet address.
Oh, look at that, dude. That's very nice to do because, like, I have connection to even on my GigaPepe account, I might have 2 or 3 followers that are smart followers, something, so
Likely to
that
have more than 2 or 3
yeah.
followers. I don't know if I'm considered a smart follower or not, so I don't know what's in the network for smart followers. I know that Jack, Peace, and GP, you're considered smart followers under the Moist Sock account. Yeah,
Wow.
I know
me?
that.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what they consider a smart follower. I don't know what that is. I think if you've been sharing tickers in ecosystems, I think it considers you a smart follower. Or if you're part of a dev project, or we have a lot of interactions with the Stacks account, right? So
Right.
I'm assuming that if they're interacting back with you, that you'd be considered a smart follower. So I don't really know what the criteria is. I don't think anybody really does. Even Dave was like, and Dave, he knows, he gets he dives deep into this stuff.
Speaking
And
of
even
Dave,
cool.
Dave should have been circa 1940s New York detective.
Yeah, basically.
That's what he should have been.
Look, it's funny because you all saw me and Dave in the back chats, how we would go at each other at first, and I love Dave. Like it's funny how deep he dives into stuff. He will tell you the minutia, but it's funny because when it comes to Kaito, he's like, I don't know what the criteria was for these drops, man.
I'm just yapping. I'm just yapping. I don't know how I'm getting these yaps, but I am. So
yeah, did you guys?
Dave's, dude.
Have you guys seen Stack stuff in there?
No, I haven't. I actually saw some chats around, if they were to get involved and pay a little bit to get on that whole network. That Stacks could have been involved, but I don't see how the Moist Sock has the smart followers and then only post about Stacks and it not being part of the process. So it's still a mystery.
That's because I don't know what the smart followers criteria is. but it's definitely picking up on that aspect of things. It's these types of things are interesting because what do we have in the ecosystem with Stacks tools? What do we base in? What do they have? Lunar Crush, right, for social sentiment.
And Signal
So
21, right? They do
in
some.
Signal 21, yeah. So there's a lot of like really interesting things that have a lot of crossover, and this is an AI platform that is like, it's basically trying to figure out and rank things, I guess. And then then there's pre-token generation event projects, which Stacks is not, and then pre-VC projects, right? I think that's what it is. So I'm still trying to work my way through it. Just figured I'd drop by and give you all a little bit of alpha in that regard to just check your accounts, because you'd most likely have something.
Check
There's a lot of
mine,
people.
even though I only have like 30 something or 40 something smart followers. I don't remember what it was. I just looked at it, but they gave me no allocation. They just went through
On the claim page, you have nothing?
nothing.
So
Interesting.
you actually went to the claim link?
Yeah.
Oh,
So
man.
Just did it while we were while in. I knew I had time because Landy was talking. So yeah.
Of course.
So
Yeah, you gotta butt in if you wanna a word in address,
no,
right?
I knew I had the number, so I could just go do it. But,
Yeah.
I got 0.
That's interesting. That's because that doesn't make a lot of sense, because there's other people with 0 apps.
For 2 weeks ago, I signed up because Gnome told me to. Gnome sent me his referral link, and he's telling me all about it. And obviously he was just trying to get referrals, which he did, but I got none.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether I guess I don't post as much as I used to either, because I'm always making we had the morning show today, then we had the marketing group meeting, then we had the by the way, what's up, Zonatron? And then I had to jump into at 11 o'clock. There was the Bitcoin Pepe group space. Rosar had his special space, and so I had to jump in and support him. AIBTC Dev has their thing regularly at 11 o'clock. Then I had to produce Melanie's show at 12 o'clock. Then we had our Spotlight show with Zero Authority at 2 o'clock. And that
we have to get everyone in a habit of looking at the calendar so they don't make all their spaces on top of each other.
Well, to be honest with you, it's as the ecosystem gets busy. So I went through this. It's part of the reason why I stopped doing spaces is just because it got to be the point where it was like to try to get a space where you couldn't be flexible on your own time space, because there was other spaces all around it, and you try to do a space at another time, and then somebody else does a space, and they suck so now there's like 20 people in this one, 20 people in this one. Dave's got a space, so it's got 150 people in it, and so you got nobody in your spaces, where like I was pulling like 100 people, 100, right. 200 people regularly. I had one that got like 500. I don't even know how. Like, I just thought that's just what happened at first. Like, my space, I had the exact opposite experience of most people. My first spaces, I was getting like 100 people. I thought that was just how it happened. And then all of a sudden, like one time I had a space that I put opposite a BitFlow of space announcement, and I had a group showing up, and like, I'm sitting there, there's only like 4 other people in the space, and I'm like freaking out. I'm like, I don't understand this. I'm talking to the people that are coming on. I'm like, I don't understand. There's usually a million. I don't understand. And he's like, no, this happens sometimes. I'm like, not to me. It doesn't. Then,
not to this guy.
Reality kind of set in, and that's become more like the norm. And it's just, there's too many. We're a growing ecosystem. There's a lot going on, and there's a lot of people having spaces, and that's not a problem, except for you be everywhere.
Those early days of Stacks, like you would have Purple Pill Friday, and you might have 5 people show up, and then you might have a space from Munib or something like that here and there. You get a couple hundred people in there, like max. And now, I mean, it shows the growth of the ecosystem. Hey, Zenny, what's up, man?
GM. Oh, sorry. Evening. Yeah.
Yeah, one of those. Right?
Yeah, most of the time.
Good Nilly. Shout out to Off My Lawn. That's how they say it. In the Nillian world, they say Ganilli.
Good Nilly.
That's another
Man.
thing I know absolutely nothing about. I know nothing about Nillian.
I have him coming on next Wednesday morning show to tell us about it because I don't know anything about it either.
Let's get into it, dude.
And they need
really
devs getting involved in it. Apparently it's a really cool thing. I just don't know anything about it. Kitty did a lot of research into it when he first moved over there. She said it's very cool, but I don't know much about it.
Is it Bitcoin based or Ethereum based?
I couldn't tell you.
Privacy computer. That's what it's called. It's a privacy computer. I don't know what that means exactly.
Yeah, I don't know what it means, but it sounds provocative, and it sounds like it might get the people going.
Yeah, I have no clue. None at all. But it'd be cool to hear from all.
Yeah, dude. Have you guys seen the ex co-host stuff? I've seen Dave getting into ex co-host. Have you guys seen this?
Oh, you were in the space on that today. I saw that you were in the space, but I was I think it was during Kitty's show.
No, what's that?
So it's almost here. I can pull up X co-host and share my screen real quick, but it's a pretty clean UI, and it's meant to like connect you with other co-hosts and hosts of shows, and kind of like get you in the conversation. If you have a space, it puts you up with other big spaces on the board. But yeah, here, let me see if I can share my screen right now. Ooh, maybe I'll post the link in Peace. Do you think that you may be able to pull this up? Because if I'm hosting from my machine, I don't want it to crash.
Yeah, I got you.
Thank you. But it's pretty cool because I want to have Dave on. I know that he had a very in-depth conversation. And I don't think that I would do it justice, but you can at least go to the home screen and kind of see that there is a calendar where you can set up your spaces. You can look into like what other stuff is going on in the ecosystem, and it's I'm pretty sure it's multi-ecosystem, and it's just for Twitter Spaces, So I don't know if it's like ETH, based or, but maybe we can look into this. What is co-host? So what I'm reading is X co-host is your one-stop shop for all things X and Twitter Spaces. We connect amazing speakers with awesome hosts. Hosts, you'll love our tools to attract and manage speakers, automate promos, and grow your fan base. Speakers, get ready to shine, network, and share your knowledge on epic spaces. And yeah, so it's mainly just to kind of showcase the different spaces going on in the ecosystem. Seeing Dave is coming across my screen at the moment, and there's a request to speak button. And I think that I'll share that one here in the live chat too, so we can just maybe look at Dave's.
Right.
And yeah, there you go. That's him. And he's got that white ape that stands out among all the other apes. So, kind of shows what he's been speaking in, what shows are like, what he's involved in the Twitter space realm. So I think this would be cool to see, right? And then you can request to speak, and I'm sure it gives you a dashboard to where you can accept a speaker. And then that way it kind of logs who's interacting with who's getting on stage with who's a co-host, who's a host, and all of that. So it gets your space next to other big spaces. So you can kind of merge audiences in a fashion, So really, really cool stuff, man. I think it's worth looking into if you're a co-host or a host of a show.
That's a good way to get out the echo chamber too.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Especially for the guys like us that are in the Stacks ecosystem. Continually speaking about it. We pop up next to a big, like say Leonidas signed up for this thing, and then we pop up next to the dog people, right? And or we pop up next to a big Sol space or Ethereum space. The main point is that it's like it doesn't focus on one chain, so it connects everybody from every different chain, and even gets into different topics like technology. There's endless possibilities about this. So I think it's pretty cool, man. What do you think, Beast?
I think
What you
it's
see?
a really interesting concept. It seems like it's kind of a newer thing, but it does look like there's some
Yeah.
cool bells and whistles. The price structure looks a little $50 a month for the so there's a free plan. Yeah, there's a free one, and I would definitely try it out. We're not doing any spaces right now, like as far as me or I'm not running any, so this is of almost no use to me at the moment. But it's
highlighting, spaces is a cool idea. I think that's a little too broad though. By covering multiple changes, it's kind of self-defeating because it would be much more interesting if it was change specific, in my opinion.
I could see it be if they get a lot of a lot of users going to the page, it might work. It might work getting exposure to the spaces. But it looks like it's a little pricey for.
We'll just see how Dave likes it.
What's that?
know,
Yeah, that's
the land.
right. Just let
He's gonna
Dave
get
try.
to the bottom.
I
Right?
love the concept of highlighting spaces though to get the word out. That's
Yeah,
good idea.
exactly. Well, and that's something that we are trying to do. Obviously, we're not. It's the same thing. It's however many people are watching us and or going to our platform and using the calendar to get the exposure. So it's a similar thing. But it's any cross exposure is better than nothing. So if I was hosting spaces, I would absolutely at least have the free account right now, and be doing that.
So I've been looking at Twitter's API because obviously I've been working on BoostX, right? And there's space specific API endpoints, and you can look up active spaces that are going, and you can query parameters by like creator IDs. So you could use a filtered list of creators and then query to see whether or not any of those guys are active in terms of having an active present up, and then
would it be
that in like a
just,
module.
Yeah, just pull in the information into the if you already had a calendar set up, how hard would it be to just pull from the API from a list of actual, like a filtered list of people, like people that actually have their account set up on the website?
Exactly.
You could actually just have it pull their spaces as they create them and drop them into the calendar on the page on the website.
Well, basically what we just need is a list of the creators, and then we could use those as query options in the API call to see whether or not they have an active space or not. And then if there is an active space, we render a presentation element for that active space.
Right. So when you set up a user profile on DeOrganized, you have the option of connecting your X account. So we could literally actually have it just query everyone that has a registered account with an X handle attached to it.
Mm-hmm.
So anyone with anyone that actually just simply signs up for an account on DeOrganized, we could actually just have it automatically schedule spaces pulling from the X API.
And it's pretty cool
exactly.
with that. On that subject is that on your profile, when you set up your profile on DeOrganized.media, you can actually see your Twitter feed. Some of your Twitter feed is on your profile page now. So
Right.
Definitely cool.
Oh, that's slick.
So we gotta tell Trip, hey, we can do that. We could actually have it so that basically anyone that has an account with us, all they have to do is actually connect their account and connect their Twitter, and any spaces that they schedule can automatically be put into a show.
Yeah, I can give him the specific API endpoint that would be optimal for that, because basically all he has to do is have their Twitter ID basically, and then he'll be able to call the specific endpoint and it'll return whether or not they have an active space up or not, right? So it'll be, once he gets the return data of who's live, he can render that in a list of elements of live spaces. I mean, we could do the same thing on BoostX, not to stomp on your toes there.
No. I really listen. It's a decentralized world, and there's all sorts of things we can do. Part of it is
that definitely depends on the Twitter API though to facilitate.
sure. But this is actually something that we're working on. Like we actually have all Dave's spaces are on there, but it's a manual input right now, and if we could actually get around having to do a manual input, like we also have the same thing. Like we have Hermetica has an account on there thanks to GPSC, and Bitflow has their account on there. Zest has their account on there. So
here, I'll share it in this chat here. This is the URL he'll need to look at for the documentation for that API.
Coming through with the clutch, crypto dude. Thanks, man. I've really appreciated this week, like having you on and talking about BoostX and some of that stuff. Maybe we can get into some of that in just a minute too.
I'm down to be the residential tech support. Let's get it going, guys.
We have to get you one of those tech support shirts like Elon wears around the White House.
Yeah, it's great.
But I play my video games.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Right. Like, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I've never played much Diablo. Like I've played Diablo, but I've never got into it. It's not the kind of gaming that I really like.
Yeah, I don't play Diablo. I ain't got time for no RPGs. I want something to pick up and play, have some fun, put it back down, not have to feel like I'm gonna have to sink a bunch of time into it.
Yeah, that's the whole thing, man. Like modern games, they've become like this thing that can take over your life like you would not believe. Like my favorite era of my gaming career in my life was Nintendo 64, GoldenEye, split screen with your buddies and just whipping up on each other. Like,
oh my god,
that was the way to go about it. And it kind of strayed from there after a while. So Mario Kart, of course, but then like once you started getting to the online stuff, although the online stuff is cool because with my son's not living at home with me anymore, like we can get online and like play a game or something. That's always nice.
And you're speaking of games.
Yeah,
like
games Zenitron.
Yeah, we were talking with Zinni. We kind of on the morning show we had a different format for the Find or Earn Live, and it worked really good. And we got to talking a little bit about like Blaze, and what we could do in this space with Rosar, that space that Peace was talking about earlier. And it's basically just taking all the transactions off chain and then batching them together. And that could lead to something like that poly market that you were talking about, Jack, with that where we could bet on players.
Right.
So I wanted to talk a little bit about like what that might look like with Rosar. He did say that he had some dinner to do with his fiance parents. So he might stop in a little later, might stop in a little bit sooner and then later. It might not even come. So but yeah, I want to talk about. That was
weird when they first started talking about the Nakamoto upgrade, and Zenitron and Crypto Dude might remember this. Like when they first started floating the idea, they were talking about subnets. Like that was like on the table. Do you remember that, Crypto Dude?
Oh yeah. They used to call it hyper chains for a minute.
Yeah, they didn't want to call it subnets, I think, because AVAX or something had kind of like cornered the market on that name or something. I can't remember the exact question.
Polkadot has subnets, I think.
Plus, it's a little confusing with traditional subnetting.
But basically, my understanding of that, I didn't catch Rosar's space, is that you can kind of this is the kind of transaction that does not have to immediately settle on a block, right? It can just settle later, so you can just handle more at one time. Is this still? That's what it's at. That's what they're talking about before. So I'm assuming it's the same thing now.
Same thing, and one of the advantages is kind of a scaling solution. If you have something where you're going to have massive amounts of transactions, you don't have to flood the network with them. You can have them happen off chain and then batch transaction on chain, so that it's taking up way less space. So It's a scaling solution. One,
It's almost like a lightning solution, almost kind of in a sense, but governed by a
Similar.
smart contract. So you're depositing your funds into basically a channel, and then you're doing all your signatures off chain, and then you're batching them, and then basically the authority rests on the smart contract to withdraw back to the actual L2. So
Yeah,
I
but
wonder if there's what the pros and cons of doing that for like Velar's perp decks would be. Like I imagine perp decks, you want settlement quick, right?
faster trades.
Yeah.
yeah, but you don't.
yeah,
you,
maybe this.
you can have the trades actually function in real time without having to worry about a 10-minute, 2-hour block or whatever ever. It can actually
Right.
be instantaneous. It doesn't require any immediate on-chain functionality to trade.
Yeah, it runs on a node basically, and then when you need to settle, you basically communicate with the L2.
I wonder if the Velar boys know about that yet.
It's a good question.
I'm sure they do.
I mean, guys, like, I'm telling you, like, perp decks is one of those things that it will be so big for this ecosystem. You know, like there's an endless market for that. You know, and basically, if you look at how meme coins on Solana have been doing, and like all of the ramifications of what's been going on behind the scenes, you know, meme coins are a little easier typically than doing perps, right? But not like people have been doing meme coins recently. So
Meme coins are easier to understand, but if you actually know how to trade,
right.
perps are safer because unless you're trading like rug pull tokens. You know, what I mean,
Right. You can
Yeah, the whole-
control the risk tolerance that you want by applying the leverage that fits you.
right.
And
If you over leverage, you're going to get wrecked because somebody's going to pull you. You know, somebody's
Right.
gonna- but it's
yeah,
just
it's crazy because like you have to have discipline, and like the other part is like, at least for me, I'm not anywhere near like Landy's level with this stuff. You know, I'm a novice compared to him, but like if I'm going in the right direction and I've got like a really strong move, it's my thing. Like, okay, I'm up this leverage a little bit. I'm up this leverage a little bit, you know, and then yeah, man, I had some. I made and lost my first Bitcoin on BitMEX. Put it that way. It took me a lot longer to make it than it did to lose it. Lost it in the Darth Maul Kingdom.
Hey man, Degens learn the hard way, Jack, and you're everybody's favorite Degen, so it sticks to the brand, brother.
But it's fun though. Like it is good. People do like trading leverage. And I mean, if you use it like you're supposed to, you're basically using it to hedge positions, right? Like it's got a very real practical thing, reason they exist in the first place. But anyway, that will bring a lot of eyeballs. That will bring a lot of traders. That will bring a lot of volume. But it's all about having that liquidity. Because, like to what you said, I learned this on FTX. Like you don't, you know, they got all these different other coins listed that you can trade on. And if you're not looking at the liquidity, man, you just tore up, you know, on a low liquidity coin in a second. It's about as bad as Solana.
Somebody ended up just dumping the tokens to liquidate your position, pretty much, you know. So, yeah, that's one of those things. Like, I have my experience. Like, I didn't lose a whole Bitcoin, but I have definitely been liquidated before, and that's to anybody that has just been trading like meme coins and hasn't really traded with perps before. It stings. It does not feel good. So.
I don't know if you see on Mount Gox.
Yeah,
So that shit's fun.
yeah, it's
I
fun
look
though.
back at that, I'm like, oh,
Talking about perp trading, well, that's all I do is perp trading these days, and if done correctly, you can make way more money than any 1000x meme coin runner because there's far too much risk in many of them. And unless you're early, you're not going to realize the quote unquote 1000x anyway.
Right.
And I can literally do 3 to 5x in perps and make more in one trade than a meme coin moves in a day to the upside. And seeing as you guys were talking about trading, I figured maybe I'd give you a little bit of alpha on stacks real quick here.
Let's go.
This is the stacks weekly. You can see that it's in an expansion to the downside. It's not over yet, but there's for anyone that's tracked Peace and I in the Tuesday morning shows, or well, afternoon for Peace at about 1 p.m. his time. I've talked about stacks and the important levels of interest for it on some longer term timeframes as it relates to like lower term timeframe stuff. And it hit a key area to the downside that we had talked about as a potential if a dollar was dropped. There was other criteria in there, but essentially there was this high on the weekly that Stacks was trying to hold on to. When it went through that area, it hit right in this key zone down here between 72 cents and 94 cents, and it closed above it. So if you look at just the history here, it's right in this support area, and the overhead for it is kind of this resistance zone just above. I'll zoom in here for everyone so you can see a little bit easier. But, it's just kind of knocking around between support and resistance after losing a support area, right? Went just right to the next big weekly support.
Close a small.
What's that?
Didn't it not close a small fair value gap?
I don't care about fair
Like
value
over there?
gaps. None of that matters
No.
because it's all just going to be built into support and resistance. Because when you're looking at an area of support, that's demand, right? When you're looking at an area of resistance, that's supply. If you fall through a demand area, that area typically will be supply again, and you have a fair value gap between the two, which essentially, we're looking at volume statistics in many cases when evaluating fair value gaps. I don't really care about them as much. They're good to know if you utilize them in a trading plan, but for just analyzing kind of where price is, you're looking for confluence with just the simple stuff. In this case, it's a weekly downtrend, right? And it's expansion of volatility to the downside through a prior support into a previous area that was resistance, right? This was a resistance zone right here on this lower high for the weekly. And we're now retesting this area as support. We had already retested this high as support, and now we're retesting this high as support. And what's interesting,
Solid breakdown, dude.
yeah, what's interesting is this area was only ever retested once, this area of price action. So when evaluating kind of what's going to happen here going forward is, if 72 to 93, 94 cents, it's actually, I'm sorry, I'm lying. It's trading at 93 cents. It's 72 to 88 cents. It's kind of the zone of interest for bidders, right? I was bidding this zone very hard. I picked up a lot of stacks in this area. And if it holds up, what we're looking for is for it to recover just overhead at $1.14 to $1.32 as kind of the big weekly level to reclaim now. And we can see that we have areas of volatility that are interesting there. It's the lower first standard deviation away from the 20 simple is going to be an interesting area to keep an eye on at about $1.14, right at the bottom side of that overhead area of interest. And we can get a little bias, really, really simple. If this sets a low, I want to see it setting a weekly low above $1.03. That would do it for me to start looking for it to test back into that $14.15 to possibly $1.30 to 32, right? And maybe even above. So that's what I'm going to be looking for next, is for it to set a low on the weekly. That's the first criteria. So if you start seeing closes back above, in this case, $1.03 on the weekly on Sunday, looks good. Probably going to set a low. That will set this swing low in this zone at support, and it'll set a closing low. Interestingly enough, what I'm tracking here is a momentum shift. We're extremely oversold on momentum. But even if momentum shifts, we need to see the low set. Where will momentum shift? Well, it'll actually shift this weekend if we see stacks close above 85 cents. It's actually a little over 85 cents. So you can take like 85 and a half cents. We'll see a momentum shift. Now, if we see that followed up with a low being closed, we will have confirmation of that momentum shift, if that makes sense. So we're at an area of interest. It could still test down there. There's nothing saying that it can't. But if we start to see things starting to turn around, we're likely going to see it this Sunday on any closes above around 85 and a half cents. And then from there, we want to see a weekly close above $1.03. Then we would have some upward momentum. Now, again, it's still in a downtrend, so it's still bearish in its trend, but it would be bullish for some shorter term upside in its momentum. And then we can begin evaluating it back from there. The last, I would expect, the last lower high is kind of far away from here. And it was actually a higher high because we went into a consolidation. So it's actually a higher high up here at $3, right? So what I would expect is once we set a low, we get a momentum shift and start working its way through supports, that it comes back down, makes a lower high, comes back down and tries to create some uptrending structure from there. And this is where when things are bearish, I'm bullish. I want that to be very, very clear. When things are bearish, Landy is bullish because I'm getting the coins that I care about for a lot cheaper prices. And I don't want to be buying the uptrend the entire way. I want to buy the downtrend and dollar cost average into it. That's where I actually get interested. I'm interested in the uptrend because I'm interested in offloading portions of my position to realize gains, right? And that's why when sentiment is really down, Landy gets a little like, hey, chill out. And people get, relative, kind of, it doesn't matter what the ecosystem is, by the way. When price is down, sentiment is down. And I'm usually on the opposite side of that sentiment. And people get like, what the hell's wrong with you? And I'm like, well, I'm a glutton for punishment and I like the DCA. So this is actually for the ecosystem, I think, really good what's occurring right now. How everybody's pulling together during these times.
Yes, dude. All right. So, I felt that energy too, how everybody was pulling together. I was also looking at the daily momentum, how it is starting to cross back to the upside when it's already high. Could you maybe pull that up and look at the daily momentum? Or
sure. This is the daily right here. Pretty just bare bones, simple analysis. It has a chance. It's set a daily higher low, right? So we have, if we zoom in really close here, you can see that we have higher low swing structure here and a higher low close. It's ever so slight. You could consider this equal lows if you're doing technical analysis. So what are we looking for on the daily? Well, we can see that the weekly criteria is overhead. So where would we break this this downtrend on the daily? It'd be on closes above $1.01, right? So we have a higher low. We need to see higher highs to start building an uptrend, and we could see above $1.01 would do that for stacks here. So we could just mark that however you would like. Oh, you can mark it green as hey, this is where we would get an uptrend. Now this is contingent on holding this last higher low, which is by our lower second standard deviation away from the Bollinger Bands here, which is just a measurement of volatility. So giving us an area of interest. So hold the red line, hold 84 cents, start seeing closes above $1.01 from here, at least as it currently stands, unless it puts in another lower high, then that would be the criteria. But right now it's $1.01 to change the trend. Daily looks fine. It's in compression. I would warn you that any closes back below 92 cents will shift momentum. It wouldn't break trend, but it would shift momentum down for a retest of this 88 and possibly this low side structure, 88 down to that 84, 85. But and it's just really simple. Trend has the opportunity to turn around on the daily. This is all going to be Bitcoin dependent, right? If Bitcoin is heading up, the market will recover, stacks will recover with it, right? To what degree? We just gauge from there, asset per asset. And in this case, we have some pretty clear criteria for stacks.
Solid breakdown, dude. Very clear, concise. That's why I love your Monday updates, your Wednesday updates, your Friday updates. Like, gotta get those shared out because people can learn and really empower themselves with this information that you're giving them, dude. So I gotta give big ups to you, dude. Especially with your Tuesday show where you really get into the nitty gritty details too with peace. Yeah, big ups, Landy.
That's what's cool.
Keep killing it.
Landy's like OG crypto Twitter. Like back in the day, you had so much more trading content on crypto Twitter than you do now. And yeah, that's awesome. I still follow some of those old traders from back then, but it was just so much more.
Yeah, it went away when it was found out that many of those traders that were sharing their analysis were farming their audiences when sharing analysis on alts.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, they did that to themselves. Many of them. There's still a lot of good ones around that still do it, and it's just not as prominent as it used to be. There's still some prominent personalities on YouTube. They just don't share their content as much on X or Twitter, mainly because of that. What happened last cycle specifically. So. But this is what it used to be like back in the day. It was like if you wanted to know you wanted the best advertisement for Bitcoin, it was people sharing that chart over and over and over again and comparing it to gold and comparing it to the markets. And like that was how that all got rolling, is like get that Bitcoin chart out there, get that Ethereum chart out there, get all this new stuff out there and show how bullish this is. Of course, it goes away for a little while in the bear market, but that's when it's time to work, right?
Yeah, and then with the Solana meme coin meta that's been taking place for quite some time now, I'm surprised they even still have charts for that. Like, it's not like you're going to do any TA on any of that bullshit.
Pretty simple charts, straight up and then straight back down. Yeah.
You got the 5 second candles.
Yeah, basically, just keep clicking as the motto was for a while over there. It's a skill issue. Don't worry. So you have skill issues. Yeah. No. Okay. Yeah. It's definitely skill issues.
Those dumbass.
Just saying that very lightly.
Did you see that the statement from the SEC today? We had like 3 weeks of like nothing from the SEC other than people getting fired, and then the SEC comes out today like, yeah, we're putting like 20 investigators on the case to make sure people don't get defrauded. I mean, they couldn't go a few weeks. It's absolutely insane.
Yeah, I mean, they went. I said this yesterday. My favorite saying is something my buddy said to me, and he texted me while I was on a Spaces event. He said, "Look, people have to understand. We went from no sleep season to crime season. Next up, it's alt season." So, like I love that statement because it so perfectly encapsulates everything that I've experienced in crypto myself. It's like when price is ripping, you're not sleeping because you're like, oh my God, how high can it go? Should I take profits here? What should I do? Right. And then when price is done ripping, it kind of takes a pause. We get crime season, and that's just people ripping everybody off. And then after crime season, we typically get a nice alt season. So I'm looking forward to the end of crime season and the beginning of alt season.
Yes, that'll be nice.
We gotta get rid of
shout out to Chip, by the way. Yeah, go USA. And I hope that the Kachuk brothers get into fights within the first 5 seconds of the start of the game again.
Who are they playing? Who are we playing?
Well, they probably won't get in a fight because it's not Canada. But did you guys see that? Like in the game against Canada,
yes,
two of the players.
Well, they were booing the national anthem.
It is Canada. It's Canada again.
Okay,
Yeah.
so wait.
Oh
There's
yes,
there's 6 of us here, so I'm declaring a quorum. So we're gonna make this official, the organized policy or not. Should we, since we all know Blockface loves to take the piss out of anybody any chance he can, from here on out, in honor of the
We all,
U.S. Canada rivalry, should we dub Blockface a snow Mexican?
well,
Pretty much, yeah. That was a hilarious post by Eli, by the way.
I'm actually going to show you guys something. There is a new paradigm in Find to Earn with the
Yeah,
treasure.
I'm just wanna like explain and say we have big progress. I'm very proud that we did today games and realized that we have to make simplicity with fine turn games. And Peace Love Music won 3 games, killing spree. Big congrats.
killing spree.
Yeah,
I
that was
almost pulled all
amazing.
4 of them. I almost
Yeah,
took
and
one. He
and
was
you
this.
outplay even Orange in the last game. Yeah, that was amazing. And I just want to explain like how can we upgrade show in the future. So just imagine that's just an idea. You have this picture and you have the clue. The clue I can just copy and drop to our private chats since everyone will see. So when the doctor received yet another raise, he finally decided to commit a murder. And the idea to find this place, this is house of this doctor, and we don't know where is it. We just can imagine maybe it's somewhere in England, maybe
Yeah,
in
it looks
London.
like
Yeah,
England. Yeah.
yeah,
Those,
yeah,
folks there.
exactly. So idea, here is it. This is quest. This is like a hard difficulty treasure hunt, and we will play, for example, like the price 200 stacks, whatever. This is just example I made for 15 minutes before our space, because like I know this is old clue trick. We drop this clue, and people start using different AIs: OpenAI, Grok 3, DeepSeek, and we have to give them opportunity to find this place using AI, and we can make competition between AI cells. So how it goes, for example, like you using Grok 3 and you find this place, and you was first, you was like faster than ChatGPT, faster than DeepSeek, and you can share your progress as a proof in your chat from the Grok. And it means like the Grok was faster and better than others, since he find this way creativity to find this place. And will be like the new metrics for AIs. For we can make like a battle of AIs this game also. And if this concept will be if it works for a broader audience, we will make like scale and upgrade it.
Yeah, it feels like a journey. Like it feels like, all right, so you're bringing like concepts from the on-chain game into the live game, and I love that because it's immersive. I can see I got really into the on-chain game. Like it took a good portion of like whenever I was testing it, like I got hooked. So I think that this is great, and I'd love to see the teamwork. I think that we can get some data from it, like which AI is most efficient. We can even like get the community founders together to play on a team versus community members. There's many ways that you can make this game like work. So I think it's malleable, and that's what makes it special.
Yeah, so that's I agree, GPC. We will explore, because like as I said, I'm very happy that we found optimal format for Find to Earn. We can onboard new users, 10 stacks, 10 bucks, people playing, winning, participate in community, creating wallets, downloading Ledger wallet, become the part of community. But sometimes people wanna
It's almost like a
something
mad
deeper,
dash.
something deeper. They wanna team up. They wanna like solve the mysteries problem. And this is real place. This is real house, yeah. And they have to realize what is doctor, how he received this another race, and we can drop the clues. And clues give opportunity finally one of AIs to find this place. Just if Michael plays, Michael using DeepSeek, okay, GPC using ChatGPT, and Peace Love using Grok. And some of AI will be faster, but you as a humankind, you play as operator. We just have to test again. We have test again and see how audience reacts, what they like, and it could be like interesting one.
I'm trying to solve a murder mystery, man. I'm trying to catch this dirty
That's what I'm
doctor
doing right
coming
now,
out here.
dude.
Working on it also, and
Same.
I'm getting. I think I have too many screens open because my computer. I can't get ChatGPT to open up.
You know what'd be fun?
I think I found
Like,
it.
Once
I found it. The
Skullcoin
Baker
gets
Street.
Yeah, really? Who is it?
Baker Street in London.
Yeah. How did you find what you used?
I just copied your image and then I threw it through a Google
Ah,
image
no,
search.
it's not fair because like in original games the image will be for sure not so obvious. Yeah. So let me explain this clue. We will do it because like the full
I thought we were allowed to use AI.
yeah. Full sentence like this when the doctor receive yet another raise from publisher because like as a profession, Arthur Conan Doyle was a doctor. And when he got another raise from publisher, he finally decided to kill Sherlock Holmes because he bored to making a lot of new pages and books, and he decided to kill his main character. That's a story. Yeah. And AI cannot like solve this story just using this sentence. But if you just add like publisher or another words like London or whatever, like obviously Sherlock Holmes, like it's leads to this house because like it's a Baker Street, it's a house of Sherlock Holmes. So
this is cool. Like I could just imagine, Skullcoin blowing up and then having like a real life version of it, right? Where you're still using, the same game mechanics, except people are actually like having to find like in real time in real world, find the actual treasure. That would be cool.
yeah, thank you, Jack.
Oh, this is gonna. This is
We'll need a lot of budget for it, but we will walk in slow our long journey.
Maybe we do a find Giga Pepe at the Bitcoin conference in Vegas or something like that, and have that.
We could
those two
definitely do some
narratives
Vegas
combined.
games. We're actually when we're actually there. I wonder if there's a way to do something like that.
Yeah,
You
we
won't
can
find it
manage
on the
something.
maps, obviously, but there could be some issue. Like we can actually take
It will
photos
be
while
great. It will be great, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, exactly. And then send them the Zenotron, and he sets up the game, and then you find the DeOrganized crew, throughout Bitcoin Vegas at the different events, different side events, and even in the main conference, So I think it's really cool. Planning all of this out and talking to you guys, just kind of getting you in the room, getting the ideas flowing, because this is what comes from it. We get more innovative being together. So I really, really love the vibe of the nightly show. I think that, just getting all of these based ideas and creators together, it makes sense. So yeah, dude, let's do some truly epic stuff together, guys.
Yeah.
I wanted to round back to crypto, dude. We did talk about perps. We did talk about a little bit about BoostX. What about perps on BoostX?
Perps on BoostX.
Perps via BoostX.
Yeah.
So now you're just trading straight from X.
Yeah, I mean,
to trade perps.
Yeah, anything really is possible with this BoostX. Like it's opened up a whole new layer, as it were. if there's a smart contract to integrate with, or some functionality to sign, basically, you can most definitely build it in. It's just a matter of analyzing the logistical input that you may need from the user, creating a clean UI for it, and then injecting the elements, basically.
I want to go around the room, guys. We're rounding up on that hour, and I wanted to thank you guys for always coming through for this dope conversation and kicking it. But I wanted to go around the room and get your ideas of what GameFi is going to look like whenever we have all of the tooling built to where it's one click away and people are earning with it. Like, what does GameFi look like when it's one click away?
I think it's actually incorporated in SocialFi as well. I think GameFi and SocialFi is going to be integrated to a large degree, and I think the Game Master will have something to do with some of it, obviously, right? Zenatron being the master.
Yeah, I think that
Jack,
what I like about it, again, getting back to the idea of when someone goes to a ecosystem, having things to do, that's just massive in and of itself, right? That's why I like the SocialFi part. And then obviously, when you're able to then, because again, you got a group of your friends and you can do these different things, and there's prizes that can be won. That's the brilliance of what Zenatron has built as well, right? You could just you could take entire communities and participate in this game, and you can have community versus community, and that's one aspect. So no, I'm super bullish on it, because that's, again, like, just like what I wrote in that article today. I hate using the term Web3. It irks me, because it's always some douchebag saying it.
Right. It feels like a buzzword, but it really does mean something.
Right. It's the third iteration. Right, and it's like this idea of a user-owned space that's based on, you're no longer the product and you're not a consumer, you're actually an owner, right? You have your own stake in the future. And so what does that actually mean? Well, that means it validates everything that any of us ever say about community at any given time. Because if that's literally a pillar of Web3, then you've just solidified, yes, community is a pillar. So anything that the community has to do is just going to be next level, and that's the thing.
Speaking on community and supporting each other and stuff, I wanted to drop a little thing that I've been noodling on in my brain for quite a many years, actually, and it was something I had initially kind of was aiming to integrate with Derupt, and most definitely still could, and that's part of the extensibility of Derupt, but it was all about being able to programmatically I guess funnel money where you want to while you're doing your normal day-to-day, kind of as like a way to auto contribute, so to speak, to the projects you believe in, and have variable control over that. So basically, one of the things we're working on is basically giving users the ability to configure essentially a list of projects they support and their payment addresses, basically, and then have a portion of the transaction in STX form funnel off to those projects while you're boosting, so that way users have kind of a baked-in way to support those projects they believe in as they're boosting, content that they also resonate with, to kind of spread the love more in an automatic fashion, get users, putting their money where their mouth is, so to speak.
No, that's cool, man. That's really cool.
Be huge. We'll have more info on that as time comes out, but I just wanted to tease it out there so people could think about the possibilities of that, because their organization that they have, if they're needing to get support, they could, instead of strictly trying to hype their content, they could be requesting, hey, if you believe in us, then add us to your list of essentially like projects you support that will be kind of auto boosted in the process.
Oh yeah, think of like just BNS1, right? Like that's a perfect example of that.
Yeah, it's like a little micro donation that you can control that as you're boosting content as well.
Yeah, no, that's cool, man. No, and that's what's so exciting about all this.
I got so scared just right now because like I thought that like I was hosting the stream and then like my browser just crashed and then I lost like the last minute of alpha. But dude, I love the idea of a baked-in way to support the creators that you resonate with. Like say you're like doing a tip and you're getting into SocialFi, right? And then you don't even have to think about it. It just takes a little portion of it and then sends it to who you want to support. I think that's great and like should definitely be like something.
Yeah, it opens up the charitability. It opens up the charitability aspect a lot for supporting small organizations that are doing good things and being able to, kind of come together as a community. We could all, see some sort of event take place, and we would want to help coordinate our efforts and not necessarily have to think about it constantly, or we can make it to where it's more of a passive thing that way.
No, that's awesome.
Really cool. Really, really cool. To Jack's point too, I just wanted to kind of, if you guys remember, I don't know if you guys all remember when Facebook first launched, what they did to actually get users was they had all these games. They started making they encouraged developers to make games inside the app to keep people inside the app. And it's the same thing as getting users to stay in the ecosystem. If you have things for them to do when they get here, they're less likely to leave. So the more entertainment options we have, the more places where they can go and engage and do things socially and in an entertaining fashion, the better we're going to be.
So, quick question is, Intertron, is this skull coins what users are rewarded with, right, when they're winning and stuff?
Yeah, I could share a roadmap actually. I could share even the screen if you want, like if you not over the time.
Sounds like we're gonna have to add that skull coin to BoostX then. Make that process to reward your users streamlined.
Yes, exactly. So we have together like the perfect synergy, like win-win situation, like non-zero sum game. We just boosting each other.
Hell yeah!
I actually have to jump off, guys.
Okay.
All right.
A great show.
Let's do it next time. Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have.
I will come to your show in the morning and we can test this episode with audience.
Yeah, definitely. Come on in the morning, and come on tomorrow morning if you're around. I'll send you the link. I'll DM me to remind me. I'll drop you the link for the show.
Yeah,
we don't have to wait until like later. You can just come on at the top.
Make sure I got the right one, by the way.
What crypto dude?
DM me the contract for Skullcoin. Make sure I got the right one.
Okay. I see some synergy going on here. I think I know where this might lead. I like it.
Yeah, I'll DM you.
Solid, guys. Thank you so much for coming through tonight, guys. This has been another awesome episode of DeOrganized.
Thank you for having me here. Thank you. Peace, love, chat, Switch.
No,
always a pleasure, Xenotron. You're always welcome to DeOrganized anytime.
Plenty.
Yeah, thank you, Landy, for informing us and educating us. Crypto Dude, man, I love having you on here regularly. I think it's awesome, and all the stuff that you're working on is really great. Jack, gonna miss you in the morning, buddy, but it's for a good cause. So take good care of your daughter. GP, I'll see you later.
Yeah.
See you, man.
See y'all later, guys.
All right, guys. This has been another awesome episode of DeOrganized Nightly, where we get together with your favorite GigaBrain astronaut scholars and we talk about cool stuff going on in the ecosystem and make great connections. I'm loving the energy that we're bringing to the space and connecting these space builders together so we can mesh ideas and make a better space and move the needle in the way that we deem fit. This is Giga Pepe, and I'm signing out. I hope you guys have a blessed evening. Peace.